given a name to my pain. The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill
The Bat of Gotham.
You don't really think you'll win, do you?
I'm Batman.
Hello and welcome to episode 143 of the Batman on Film podcast. BOF is the sponsor as well as a proud member of the Batman Podcast Network. Check out all the shows over at batmanpodcastnetwork.com and follow our Twitter at BatPodNetwork. If you're listening to us on iTunes, if you take the time to rate and review the show, we'll read your review on the air. BOF is also now on Patreon if you like what we do here at BOF, whether it's the podcasts, vlogs, or the website itself and you want to help support us if you're so inclined, please head over to patreon.com/BatmanOnFilm and sign up. I am your host for the episode, Ryan Haas, and on today's show, we're going to provide a commentary for the series finale of Gotham. And to do that, I am joined by Eric Holzmann and Peter Verra. How are you doing, guys?
Okay, doing well.
I'm
Nice.
fantastic. This is
Nice.
This is the greatest. I'm ready. I'm just the culmination of the last 5 years. Just Gotham supplanting itself in the history of Batman lore. Just I'm ready.
One way or another.
However you want to do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you guys have been covering... That's why I wanted to do this is, I didn't want to do a giant, finale discussion necessarily. I thought it'd be kind of more fun to do a commentary because that will keep us on track and keep it from being a giant 3-hour discussion on a single episode. And if we might, if people like this episode, we might do a full series retrospective discussion, but that maybe we can do that in a couple months once the whole series is out on Blu-ray, something like that.
Okay, that'd be fun. I'd like to do that. I'd like to do. I can this way. I can use my tweets as notes, and they serve a purpose.
Yeah, you can go back to you can search your hashtag, your PV Gotham binge,
Which I did, and then I
Hashtags.
forgot that Michael Chiklis was on the show altogether, and that
Oh yeah,
he involved in the Mad Hatter with the blood, and he turned into a little he turned into a fake version of the Thing, and it's just I was like, oh wow, that did happen. They
there's
didn't address that at
so
all.
much stuff in Gotham where you're like they did that,
so much. Yeah, you're like, oh wait, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
And then Fish Mooney, I forgot all about her, and
Yeah.
it was just little things that you're like, oh wow.
yeah. I was in preparation for this. Because here's the background. It's like all three of us have, because a lot of our friends have just chimed in, or like Garrett, who's on the podcast, and Bill. They just kind of, and I think Rick even, they all just jumped in and just watched this series finale just to be because that's the one. Like, if you're just a fringe person that doesn't care about Gotham, Gotham itself is kind of a fringe show too. Like, let's be honest. I mean, it's got its fans for sure, but people that have kept up with it have been a kind of a unique breed. But all of them just watch the finale, and with no other context than it should be the real Batman at that point. Because it takes place 10 years, they do a 10-year time jump,
Right.
to show you what Gotham looks like in the future when Batman's there. And but all three of us, we've kept up with the show since its beginning. I mean, I kept through it steadily through all the seasons, but you guys kind of fell off, but then caught up and all that kind of stuff, right? So
I fell off after season 1. I got into season 2, episode 1, and then I stopped because that's when it was too much for me. So then recently I caught up because I kind of geared up for this season. I was like, okay, this is the final season. Let me see how far I can take this.
yeah,
So I started with season 2, episode 1.
Because you kept asking me like, you still watch it? I'm like, yeah, I watch it because I don't like it. It's not a great show, but it's still Batman, and I still want to be able to talk about it. So,
And that's another thing too. Is like I've heard people talk about the show and how great Jeremiah, Joker, whatever this guy's name is, Jerome. And I'm like, it can't be that. I'm like, what am I missing? And I felt like I was missing out on something. And then I actually watched the show and I was like, okay, I'm not. These people just really like this.
yeah,
And you find it interesting because it's like, okay, it does have its it does have its very passionate group of fans as we've grown accustomed to seeing. But it's something else entirely.
It is.
That's for sure.
It is.
Yeah, I stopped at season 3 after season 3 ended. So I only had to watch 4 and then this year. So I didn't fall off too much. But that, after season 3, I was kind of like, all right, they finally have pushed me all the way over, and I couldn't come back.
Yeah,
but Pete actually is the reason I came back. So,
well, yeah, I mean, it makes it fun. And you guys have been doing your green room shows on, post episode discussions, right?
Because it's better than writing about it. Which is kind of where it came from.
And it's fresh in our minds. And
I didn't want to write another article and have to proofread it and make it look good about something I don't think is good. It's just, you got to put so much effort. At least with that, it's just like, it's kind of live.
And it was fun to do. I mean,
it was cool. We the immortal Rob Myers joined us almost every week.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Garrett was in there every week. Justin Kowalski, former BOFer, popped in once in a while. I saw Michael Uslan watching us, so that was interesting. So that was kind of cool. So the green room has been fun. It's given me a reason to actually stick around.
Yeah,
well.
It was a lot of fun doing that, just because it's like we'd be watching it and we text each other on certain points, whatever. Like we see it and we're like, "Oh, did you see that?" or whatever. And some of our text messages are actually pretty damn funny. Because we both had the same exact reaction at the same exact time.
Yeah, they're on Twitter for the most part.
Yeah,
so we would both be like, "What?"
Yeah,
pretty much.
And even if a show like Gotham isn't for everybody, or you're not the greatest fan of it, since it is Batman, it is kind of fun to experience that on a weekly basis when the show is on, right? So you have some kind of common ground thing you can get experience together, and it's different than a movie, and it's different than a comic, and it's different from like a video game or whatever.
Well, yeah, like I was just telling Eric, like post Justice League, this has kind of been like my Batman thing, because it's the only thing out there. It's kind of like held me over for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, my gosh, if you were a Superman thing, all you had was Smallville for years and years. But both before and after Superman Returns came and went. So that kind of kept Superman alive until Man of Steel came, and then Superman died in BVS and came back in Justice League. So, and it's kind of sort of in Shazam. So, but Gotham is it's definitely. I mean, like I said, I don't want to get too deep into the full series discussion kind of thing, but Gotham is a really interesting show, to say the least. And I was looking at some top 10 articles, and I generally don't like those kind of like top 10 whatever, but I found some articles that were like, okay, here's like the 10 things that need to happen or be addressed by the time the series finale of Gotham comes on. And it was all these seemingly wild things. And, I think I tweeted out like a comment on it a couple of days ago that, some of those things, like 3 out of 10 of the 10 that people were wanting got addressed. And it speaks to like, as a show, how wild the narrative is, that they just kind of threw everything in the kitchen sink in without trying to build to some sort of final narrative. Those articles said things like, oh, where's this character? Where's that character?
Well, yeah, like I remember you tweeted the article, I read it, and the first thing that popped up was Bruce's clone. And I was like, I forgot about that stupid storyline.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
It's never good. And then there was, it was Montoya, and then Vicky Vale.
Valerie Vale.
Valerie Vale.
And then Two-Face, like they had Harvey Dent seasons 1 and 2, and then he just disappears. That's what the show would do. They would introduce characters, and they would be gone the next episode, or characters would live and die and come back and then die again over and over and over again. I mean, it was a crazy, like, soap opera meets, I don't know, like, comic book show. It was definitely like...
It's a revolving door of chaos.
And we'll see. That's a great way to put it. But we'll get into it when we watch the episode, but it was more like the whole show is this kind of fly by the seat of your pants development in terms of course correcting and just trying things out and just being weird without a regard to like a final end game in mind. And some of the like when this finale aired, and speaking of Endgame, this finale aired on last Thursday, the same night that Avengers Endgame came out.
And just so everyone knows, I watched Gotham the day it came out. Okay, I didn't go see Endgame like Eric, and then not pay attention to Gotham. Full attention went to where it belongs: Batman, Batman-related media. Just saying.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I
did that.
I'm sad to say, yeah,
I made the sacrifice.
I didn't even get this. I didn't even watch the finale until Saturday because I watched by the time I watched the Gotham finale, I had to see Endgame twice. So,
tremendous.
Yeah.
It's funny, like this particular. Sometimes Gotham has like a Batman Forever, like Six Flags studio backlot vibe, and that was like very prevalent in this episode. So this episode was just unique in that I think it's the best episode of Gotham we've gotten because it gets to the meat and potato. It's everything we wanted it to be, essentially. You know.
Yeah. So like, can you like set up, both of you guys like kind of set up season 5 in general and kind of where things left off before this finale starts?
Yeah, basically.
For people that might just not have only watched the finale.
So basically, Gotham is in no man's land, okay? Bane and his forces are charging this like barrier where Bruce and Gordon and Riddler and Oswald are all kind of just stationed up, and they're just all fighting. It's like a giant battle royale, and basically the government just decides to drop the bombs on Gotham because it's too much. Mm-hmm. And then we pretty much fast forwarded a decade, right? Like that's pretty much it, correct?
Yeah.
Well, they stopped that plan in that episode. In the episode before the finale, they end up stopping. They pulled like a Spider-Man thing, like the Raimi Spider-Mans, where they're like the citizens like stand up to the villain kind of thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bane was about to like just mow them all down because it was Bane's giant army against like 8 people. Like the main cast members. Bruce and Selina and Gordon and Bullock and all the villains too. So, and they were like, but then all the Gotham citizens and Bane's own men were like, no, we're not gonna have a big fight scene. And then Bane just kind of like stood there and with his hands up, and he's like, oh, okay, you guys win. And you never see him again in the whole show. And I thought that was kind of weird.
Yep.
But
yeah, well,
but that version of Bane was weird too. We can get into that sometime.
He does his hair. He does his hair.
Yeah.
Well, the season was very obviously fast tracked.
Yeah, it was. Compared to most seasons, it was only 12 episodes, right? Yeah. And it was just enough for them to get to 100 episodes. So the finale makes episode 100, and that's like a good round number for syndication and stuff like that. So they kind of were given that opportunity when this final season started to kind of wrap it up and kind of do that. And the showrunners had always said from the beginning that like the last shot of the show is going to be Bruce Wayne putting the costume on for the first time, and that's not exactly what they did, which isn't surprising because they changed their plans quite a bit. And I think I was going to say this in the Hollywood in the Hollywood Reporter, like the day of or the day after the finale came out, there was a really fascinating interview with the showrunners, and they kind of basically admitted that the show kind of went too fast into storylines and kind of was a fly by the seat of your pants kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Like I think there's one quote in there that said something to the effect of like, yeah, we wish we could have planned it out better, or I'd like to say that it was planned out well, but it kind of wasn't. And
it was a very good read.
Yeah, it was kind of refreshing to hear that they were, pretty honest about the development process. Like, no, we didn't really have it planned out. And
then you find out these guys are in charge of Pennyworth, and you're like, oh my god.
We'll see. We'll see about Pennyworth. I hope Pennyworth's good.
It looks good to me.
So everything I've seen so far looks good. But Gotham.
I'm more excited for Batwoman than I am Pennyworth.
Oh yeah, well, because it's more of a capes and superhero kind of thing, and that just talking about Gotham in terms of a Batman thing you can experience on the small screen every week. Batwoman's going to be probably way more interesting to follow, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely going to be more of what we want as opposed to the build up.
Yeah,
We're just thrown into the middle of this character.
We've never seen it either, so that'll be interesting too.
Yeah. So like they end the main conflict of the season in the episode before the finale, where Gotham is, it's kind of like The Dark Knight Rises, where the bridges are blown and then Bane comes and tries to just nuke Gotham and wipe it off the face of the earth. He's working
with a lot of Nolan references.
Literally, like they were, Bane's working with Nyssa Al Ghul, which is the other daughter that's not Talia, and she even uses, makes Bane, makes Bane her warrior, and she even uses the you're allowed to die line from Rises to a much lesser effectiveness, but they do that, and she kind of escapes at the end, like in a submarine, and they don't really follow up on it at all.
No, they don't.
But it's left open to interpretation, I guess. Like you can assume that's one thing and then that's how it ends. The main thing that happens is that Bruce finally decides, and they had actually, to the show's credit, they had been like they've been hinting at this the whole season, that Bruce was like, when this is all over, I'm going to like leave Gotham, because it, all this stuff happened because of me, and I need to get better and all that stuff.
And so I care about are getting hurt.
Yeah. So he just leaves Gotham, and he and Selena had become a couple by the end of the show, but he just kind of left without even telling her that he was going, and just left her high and dry, and went off to his journey of like training. So the finale picks up we'll see, but it picks up 10 years later, and you just see what all the villains and everybody in the show has been up to the whole time, and you get Batman. So
yeah, and this is what we kind of started this whole thing, was like, okay, cool, like they're gonna give us Batman in the last episode. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, what's it gonna be like? What's he gonna look like? So this is a little bit of a cool little bit of anticipation, just being like, okay, there's a new Batsuit out there.
Yeah, and it's an interesting, and I'm surprised they didn't do. Well, I'm not surprised, but there's no Batmobile. It's still, there's no. It's not 100%. There's no Batcave. Like they kind of sort of set some of that stuff up in the show, but they're not able to pay everything off in the finale, because they didn't do anything like a 2-hour finale. It's literally in one single episode. It's like 44 minutes. They're not able to do everything. And what we'll see is that, they can use Batman in the finale, but they still have parameters. Like they can't really show him that much. They can't, when we get into the Joker, they can't have anybody say the word Joker. Joker can't have, or the Joker, character can't have green hair exactly. Like, so there's all kinds of these rules that are still in place.
It's cool how they try to dodge some of those rules. Like they made him bald, first of all. So, so it's kind of cool how they dodged that one.
Those rules are kind of snobby and ridiculous. I mean,
they always have been, but to the show's credit, it's kind of interesting to look at. And the other thing that's kind of crazy is that, but Smallville, to Smallville's advantage, that show ran for 10 seasons. So the high school Tom Welling is Superman man by the time they get to season 10.
Right.
But David Mazouz, who started as 10-year-old, 12-year-old Bruce Wayne in season 1, he's only had 5 years, so yeah, he's grown up for sure, but he's not like 6'4", 250-pound Batman, so it was a really interesting question of how they were going to handle, like Pete was saying, how they're going to handle showing Batman in the finale, because most all the other characters that were going to be in the finale, they just it's the same actors, and they just say that it's 10 years later. With the exception of Catwoman, they did recast Selena Kyle, which made sense.
And they did a great job of that too, because I believe
remarkably good.
I bought it. Like, she looks like an older Carmen. I can't pronounce her last name.
Carmen by Condova. Yeah.
Yeah, Bianca. I call her Bianca Badova. I don't think that's her name.
That's not correct.
But she looks like an older version of her. Like I thought they did a great job on that.
She did a fantastic job, and And Batman, well, I'm trying to get some of this discussion out of the way just in case we don't cover it in the commentary. But what they ended up doing was they had a bigger stunt actor play Batman, and for the last shot of the show, they kind of digitally superimposed
they
the bottom part of
They did,
but better than Justice League of David
better,
Mazouz's face onto their suit.
I'll give them that.
And it's a unique Batman suit, and which we'll get into, and the Batman voice is also David Mazouz, but they kind of did some
right, kind of like they did with
It's very Affleck.
Right?
Affleck, yeah, they did some post on it to have the voice modulated, and they did some different stuff when he's talking to Selena later in the episode. So we'll get into that. So, is there any other stuff that you wanted to bring up before we get into the commentary, or you just want to
about this episode?
Yeah. Or about Gotham in general before we get into it.
Well, I mean, I don't want to get into it now, especially if we're going to do a follow-up thing.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll just save the rest of the comments for that.
Sure.
Because of the show.
Yeah.
This show obviously was the payoff, right? And like we said.
Yeah, it's what the show has been building to,
right,
like, the whole time.
And even our friends who we know, like we said before, who didn't watch the show, watch this one. So,
yeah,
that part was kind of, I think that's kind of the standout thing about this episode, is that I think more people probably watched it than watched the show during its 5 years.
And it's all
it'll be interesting to see.
Sure.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like, if it did get like a spike in ratings or whatever compared to the rest of the season.
Batman tends to do that, so we'll see.
He does, but they, even in the marketing, they couldn't. I mean, they did and they didn't show it off. I mean,
they only showed the window, right? The window.
They showed the window, and you got like the poster
of
the back of his head. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
We'll see. So yeah, if any listeners like actually have questions or anything that they think would be cool for us to bring up on a full Gotham retrospective panel, just let us know either on Twitter or email, and we'll talk about it. So until then, we are going to do this commentary, and I think we are all watching it on Hulu.
Yeah,
yes?
You guys talked me into it.
Well, the good thing about you got Hulu. Well, the good thing about Hulu is that they're not a sponsor of the show or anything, but it's got no commercials, and you can just actually watch the episode, and that'll keep us all on the same page and everything. I assume for us it's 44 minutes and 10 seconds. I assume if you don't have Hulu, and you just buy the episode from iTunes or something like that, it's probably around the same. So just keep that in mind.
If you're watching on the app, just pause us until the commercial's over.
Yeah, that's
that's the other way to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be the other way to do it. So I'm getting queued up here.
Here we go.
Yeah, I'm getting queued up here, and what we'll do is 3, 2, 1, go, and on go we'll press play. So are you guys ready? On my go, we'll press play. All right.
I'm ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Previously on Gotham. All right. So yeah, they're doing the setup, and they're just showing. Oh yeah, they had Barbara Keene and Bruce kill Ra's al Ghul for the second time.
You want to know something? I don't think for a TV show the CGI throughout has been very bad.
Hey,
I think it's actually been okay.
The CG and the sets for this show are remarkable.
Except for the green goo, that was bad. But most of the time, it's really good.
I mean, overall, I think the show even won some award for its VFX at some point. But yeah, and Gordon was already named commissioner, so he's commissioner once this 10-year gap starts. Jeremiah, the second Joker brother. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Jerome first and then Jeremiah second, right?
Yes.
He had been thrown into the acid, just like the normal Joker origin, and he's like in prison in a coma, very much like Dark Knight Returns. And so here at the beginning, you get the one scene of Bruce, and this is cool. Like, and for people that didn't watch any of the show, this probably works maybe even better.
It just brings you back to begins, you know?
It does. It does. He's just forcing himself to be alone and exploring the world.
Yeah, he didn't do his hair either. You see that?
Yeah.
I just see this and I think of Bale stealing like bread,
right,
and apples and stuff like that. You know, like this is the beginning of that journey. He gets arrested stealing Wayne Tech products. You know,
there's Himalayan stuff, just like Begins. I mean, I think that's clearly what they're trying to.
It's kind of like that monastery in the base of the mountain there too. You know.
Yeah. 10 years later. So 10 years. Oh, Gangs Under. So if you pause that, that's saying like, and this whole scene is setting up like Batman's in town.
Yeah.
He's been like active for a few weeks at least.
And there it is. Look at it. It's beautiful.
What, the mustache?
Yeah, it's great. It's, I never understood like why Gordon never had the, I get it. Like he's younger. I guess it's an old man thing, but I always need a mustache. I think it looks good on Mackenzie.
It just,
you put glasses on him, he looks like Gordon.
But see, maybe that's what they needed to do, was give him glasses too. Because otherwise, it still is like weird to me.
Yeah, the mayor returns. We see the mayor back.
Yep, the mayor that was mayor 10 years prior is
exactly
again.
Hey, dude, he's a publicly elected official. Like he's doing his job, right? He's been there for 10
And the
years.
Wayne Tower. So they're talking about Wayne Tower now and how it represents hope for Gotham. So Wayne Tower got blown up in the 10 years prior, and it's actually kind of a cool framing device.
No, it's the tallest building in Gotham, right? Mm-hmm. Almost.
Yeah.
Soon to be second.
Currently, yeah.
Soon to be. We'll get to that part, but soon to be.
And this is a cool setup too. Gordon's saying that he's, after this Wayne inauguration thing, or what, this Wayne like Tower party thing, fundraiser, he's going to retire as police commissioner because he's been commissioner for 10 years.
I like that angle. Like how, like, you know, at the end he's almost like, he changes his mind.
Well, yeah. Once Batman is there, he's like, that's enough for him to be like, I'm going to stick around, let this guy kind of.
I've always liked Bullock throughout the series. He's been one of my favorite characters.
He's definitely a strong point.
Bullock, Catwoman, Riddler probably are my favorite characters in the series.
Alfred. I like Alfred. Alfred and Bruce.
But I enjoy Daniel Logue, I think his name is.
Donald Logue, yeah.
Donald Logue?
Yep.
I enjoyed his Bullock. You know?
Hey, look, there's Barbara Lee Gordon.
I didn't hate her name. I actually kind of liked her name.
I thought that was pretty clever. Now this, nice. I hated. Barbara Keene, 10 years later, has red hair. So if you haven't watched the show, she was Gordon's girlfriend, like doting girlfriend in the first season, and quickly becomes
she was a normal person.
She was normal until like the tail end of the season, becomes crazy, kills her parents, and then spends the next 5 seasons dying like 3 times, turning into a mob boss, turning into the League of the Shadows, like
challenging Penguin for craziest hair.
Right.
Yeah, challenge. You know, she was like, you know, she killed Ra's al Ghul. She was with Ra's al Ghul, and then she like took over the entire League of Shadows. Like, it was insane.
She had, if we're going to talk character arcs, probably the most insane arc of anyone on the show. Oh, for sure.
And she like, in the like one random episode in the 5th season, her and Gordon have this weird like lapse, and then they like have a kid together.
Yeah.
and then for some reason, she's been this crazy person that's killed how many people. All of a sudden, gets 10 years later is like off scot-free, and had a kid with Gordon, and is a millionaire about to make, you know, this giant building in Gotham, and somehow Riddler and Penguin, who have done equally horrible things, were locked up in like Blackgate and Arkham for like 10 years.
She's
so weird.
Gordon baby's mama, that's why.
When you guys are watching the Riddler here, do you get like Batman Forever vibes a little bit?
Yeah, with the crazy hair. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah, like even the red hair on Barbara, I said to Pete, you know, Barbara Gordon, red hair.
Yeah. They tried to give us Babs.
You know?
Yeah. And so, like, the kid's name is Barbara Lee Gordon. Barbara for Barbara and Lee for Leslie Tompkins, who in this iteration is married to Gordon.
Yes.
Which is a departure from the comics.
Triangle.
Yeah. A constant one. And yes, there you go. There's your Joker there. So, in this iteration, he's the Joker. He had a brother whose name was Jerome, and he was crazy. And then he turned into the Joker, and he did this stuff like from the comics where his face got ripped off and then put back on, and he was crazy. And then he secretly had a secret brother that was also a twin,
who was an architect,
and then who was an architect,
somewhat normal at the time.
Yeah,
he was somewhat normal, and then Jerome got the Scarecrow to make Joker toxin, and then made his brother Jeremiah take the toxin, and it made him go crazy, and then Jerome died.
I actually like the Scarecrow in Gotham.
Jeremiah took his mantle up, and then he, in that one episode, he falls into the vat of chemicals and goes into a coma. It's so bizarre. You thought that season in freaking Lois and Clark was weird when Superman or Lois Lane like forgets who she is and is like they almost get married and they don't, and there's like a clone. Like that pales in comparison to some of the character arcs in Gotham. But
I mean, here looking at Leslie Tompkins, she's had a crazy. I mean, she was basically queen of the Narrows at one point.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, see that was
she took Tetch's blood with the blood, and she was
And they gave her a pseudo romance with the Riddler as well. Yeah. Like it was so bizarre to see that character go through what she went through. She was about to did marry one of the Falcone.
Yes.
I forgot about that. That's
Mario.
Right.
And then Gordon shoots him.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was. Yeah.
They definitely did a lot of things. Well, I'll give them that.
But now Gordon and Leslie Tompkins are happily married. It's been 10 years later. They don't have any kids of their own, apparently, but yet they have custody. Barbara Lee Gordon, or half custody or whatever.
Shared, I would say
shared. Yeah.
Now here comes probably one of the best parts of this whole episode.
Catwoman, or they don't call her Catwoman, but Selena Kyle, grown up. I guess she's stuck in Gotham and is still just wearing cat suits and stealing stuff.
She said she decided to stay. That's what she said.
Selena Kyle can't leave Gotham.
So, yeah, this was
too
awesome.
much fun.
This was awesome.
And it's
even though, although when you watch it, I'm like, oh, she set it off there.
Yeah,
she set it off there.
Look, I may be critical of the show, but when it's fun and good, it's not bad. And like this is one of those moments.
Awesome. Yes,
where it's just like this show's right now. It's just fun. It's good.
Yeah, well, this is one of those things that like you can get even if you haven't watched the show, and it's also a thing that even the showrunners said like this. See, I don't know why she had to take her mask off.
Like, this part's a little too much. The nails are too much for me.
I think that was just the reveal. They wanted to let her know she's different.
The nails? Well, she had the nails in when she was a kid, too.
Yeah, she had them.
Yeah, it's
and don't forget, she also has cat powers because she broke her legs. Well, she broke her legs, and then she took a special
ivy drug,
magic seed from poison ivy,
yes,
and then got cat eyes and cat powers. But they don't mention any of that in this finale. Thank goodness. No. But somebody's watching her.
Yes,
that's Batman.
Well, they just stole that from comic continuity, where Ivy helps out Harley and gives her superpowers. So like it's kind of true, you know. So it's loosely connected to comics. So that's like great writing right there.
Yeah. See, they could have easily thrown in Montoya in this finale. Just because it's 10 years later. Yeah, they could have put them both in here. It's 10 years later. They could have been like, oh, Montoya's back on the force and she's partners with frickin' Bullock because Gordon is the commissioner and he's, doing commissioner stuff.
Well, the crazy thing I said this should have been 2 hours long.
Well, that's what it would be even.
But just so they had an opportunity to do weird stuff and wrap up weird storylines.
It gets really weird here.
Yeah,
So this whole plot is basically...
This part's weak.
this whole plot of the whole show, of this whole episode, is about, the Joker trying to reveal himself and
drawing out Batman.
But this is just it's just a little weird because you can't say his name. Like, is that what I'm saying? Is that what is he listening? I thought he was what's going on here?
So,
is he waiting for someone to say his name?
I wasn't clear why Bullock, what they had on Bullock here to make him do this. It's
never clarified.
Right. This is what I meant to say before. This part where I didn't get because I don't know what. Like, they do this scene here, which we see in the interrogation room, and they could leave it.
Like, Gordon knows that Harvey didn't kill that guy, but he's saying that he did because he wants the case dropped or whatever, and he'd rather go to Blackgate than reveal whatever. But I don't know why. But it's still,
he can't say Jeremiah's name. That's it. Like, when Gordon says it, later on is when he freaks out. But he for some reason saying Jeremiah Valeska is going to set him off because he's listening somewhere, and it's
like why? Because they had some. Yeah. Oh yeah, so Gordon's shaved his mustache. Yeah, that was part of the earlier scene where Leslie was like, "Oh yeah, you shaved it." Bruce isn't going to recognize you with that caterpillar on your lip. He's like, "Oh, I was just trying something new." So it's kind of interesting that they barely. I guess the thought is that later on, he'll get glasses and his eyesight will go, and then he'll get. Yeah.
You mean the spin-off show that's coming?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll be shocked if we see this universe again.
Oh, really quickly, going back to Montoya, the girl, the new cop who's been introduced. The first thing that popped in my head was
this one, Alvarez?
No, not Alvarez. The girl with the curly hair.
Isn't that Alvarez? Who is that?
Alvarez is a guy.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, oh my god, look, it's Misty Knight. That's what popped into my head.
Oh, and
I was like, wait a second. It's just this is one of those things. Here we go. This is very interesting. How bad is that? He was so
great. He was great.
He's the second best Riddler live action we've ever had.
He was great. The best iteration for me from the show.
I half agree. What I didn't like about the interpretation is the weird.
But that's the writing. It's not the acting.
No, it's
with
totally
him especially. I think his acting really nails it.
Yeah, it's a total writing thing. It was the split personality thing, that the Riddler is a separate guy or whatever. That was weird to me.
I like that. I didn't like it when they made him this bloodthirsty killer. I felt that was too simple for the Riddler.
Yeah. Well, they end up getting.
But he does some manipulative things.
Yeah, they end up getting into he's got to prove how smart he is kind of stuff. Now, this letter was not sent by Oswald.
No.
I
do like the green lights.
Yes.
Even though it doesn't make much sense.
I love his outfit when he puts it all together. He
we're
looks
going to
very
see
dapper.
that soon. We will see that soon.
It's great. It really is.
Yeah.
And this is fun. He's another one. It's just he acts over the top, so sometimes it's a little
he got more and more over the Penguin got more and more over the top as the show went on, and I think that they played into that, just that he was like, "I hate you, go crazy," like at any time.
He just he yells.
His costume was dead on too. I liked his.
Yeah. They didn't make him fat enough, though. They should have made him just gigantic.
Well, it's weird. I think they made it look like he was putting his old clothes on.
He was getting weight.
Right?
He's gaining weight, clearly.
And he's gaining weight, exactly.
Oh, I see.
All right. That's why it looks like the top button of his shirt isn't buttoned.
Yeah.
Right.
It makes you give...
Okay, so, and he's got this monocle over his fake eye because his eye got blown out, in the previous episode. They just waited till the last second.
He just looks good in this outfit here.
Yeah.
I enjoy this.
Yeah. He kind of earned this.
Yeah.
Yeah, early on.
Now, here we go. Here, watch him freak out. It's just it's just so silly.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah, it's just, there it is. That face. Oh,
Yeah.
God. But yeah, I
Oh
remember.
man, there's Batman again. See this is kind of cool. These parts of the
I like
show.
this part.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, when
Where's
this show was
his scallops
announced,
on
I
his
thought this is what
gauntlets,
we were going
though?
to get. Like Batman's just hand here, his foot there.
Yeah. The producers are saying this whole episode plays like a second pilot almost. Because I would watch this show.
This is
I mean,
the
I
show I
watched
want.
Gotham, but like, yeah,
You know,
I would. Yeah.
The crime-driven show where Batman
Harper,
is
that's
doing
her name.
things in the background, but you don't see him. It's just like he quickly leaves like Gordon's office, or he quickly like vacates the scene, like we just saw.
Right, he's in the periphery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like you never actually see him. It's just a foot, a cape.
Yeah. It's cool though. It works. And yeah, it's 10 years later. They didn't really do anything to any of the main characters to make it look like they were 10 years older, though. Like,
Could have used some
be
gray
honest.
hair.
They did make his hair a little bit more gray, but like, you know. Now that's cool.
Yes.
The voice, I'm not your enemy. And that's more of the growl, distorted Batman voice. And it works. It's kind of cool.
I feel like it sounds too much like Mizzou's voice.
Well, it is Mizzou's voice.
But it sounds, but like, I feel like the Keaton Bale voice, like you can like it's a different voice from his everyday voice. Like I could still hear Mizzou's, like, I feel like it's not distorted enough.
You could say the same thing about Affleck's voice too. Now this is weird. Like, that's a weird way for Batman to leave. Like, it's just like
I've seen him do this before.
Very ungraceful, like not very Batman-like, in my opinion. He just kind of like flops out of the window. But he's vanished.
This is like what, week 1?
He vanished.
He's been back for a couple days.
He's not seasoned yet.
It's week 4.
He's still learning how to do things gracefully.
I mean, dude, remember in Begins, he barely reached that fire escape.
That's true.
You know?
That's true. Just in some ways, I'm just thinking like, this is their one shot in this show to
Ryan,
show Batman doing cool stuff.
You have to understand. You have to understand Pete's dislike of Mizzou's overall to understand his critique of everything
he's
about
a
him.
Fraud. Not a fan of B-dubs.
Oh, Pete.
But that's like one of my biggest issues with Gotham is that it didn't make me care about Bruce Wayne or even Gordon for that matter because it's too focused on crazy villains.
Well, yeah,
reintroducing
that's what happened. Like
villains.
once you hit season 2, it was like, let's forget about Gordon and Bruce and let's just do weird, crazy villain stuff and gratuitous violence and let's have Hugo Strange invent every. Oh yeah, the show is super violent, hyper violent.
Yes, especially for a 8:00 show on.
This is cool.
Yeah, this was awesome.
I didn't notice how they entered the car at the same time. I thought he was always waiting for him. This is one of the better parts of the episode, actually.
Yeah, because this is a reflection of what happens in the pilot. You know, it's just reversed where Gordon was forced to like kill Oswald. So I like it when season or series finales do stuff like this that calls back to the pilot. You know, and there's a few more moments like that in this episode that I think are really well done. That kind of does its best to tie things up or make things echo in a narrative sense.
It's just great to see him in that top hat. Because he's had some crazy hairstyles for 5 years.
Yes.
I mean, they have done some interesting things with that guy's hair.
They did crazy stuff with Bruce Wayne's hair, too.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept thinking, like, is it to make him look like he's taller than he actually is or something? Like, this giant, like...
Around, like, season 4, they just started making him look like he was almost on the Matrix.
Yeah, no, I'm like... They could have, like, just made his hair... Turned his hair into, like, bat ears or something like that.
Kind of curl it like he's Wolverine.
Rick Shoe's calling me right now. Doesn't he know we're recording a podcast?
Well, no, because it's not about Rocky or Star Wars.
I know. Rick just got out of Avengers.
Again?
For the second time.
Okay.
Oh man, there's a good penguin scream.
I don't understand the motivation to want to kill him. Really?
His motivation is because
Gordon
he threw him back in
jail.
He sent him to Blackgate for 10 years. Yeah, after they
old WB logo.
After they stuck their necks out to save the city.
This moment's great here, and Alfred's response is cool. Really great.
This whole thing is cool.
Yes,
very Batman Returns-y.
You gotta wonder how long has it actually been since he's seen her. It's probably been a few years at least. Not, I wouldn't say the whole 10, but it's probably been a while. Especially, but the reason I say it shouldn't be the full 10 is if Selena never left. Alfred didn't necessarily leave either.
Well, Alfred was never a big fan of her. Do you remember? Didn't he like slap her and tell her not to come back at one point?
Oh, there's a few times.
Yeah, he kind of warmed up to her at the end.
Yeah. And the whole episode does a really good job. Like, a lot of the characters talk about and discuss Bruce Wayne. Like, Bruce Wayne is a big part of the episode, even though he's not in it, Which, in a way, it's practical because they don't want to show a recast David Mazouz, because that would be a little too hard. But it also adds to the mystique of... because we know as viewers that he's Batman.
What I found out...
And he's out being Batman right now.
What's really interesting to me about this episode is they made Selena very warm. It seems like she wants to see Bruce. She's like, where is he? I know he's here. He's not, where is he? How come he's not being seen? Whereas I always took Selena as the strong, cold individualist. Where she's like, you're back? Well, you don't want to see me? Well, screw you. I got nothing to do with you either. I'm going to go steal stuff. She seemed like she almost cares a lot about him, and it's usually an older Selena thing, not necessarily this is like the beginning, Yeah,
it's an interesting twist on the relationship, and it had some ups and downs in the terms of how it was handled in the show, but the way it ends up here in this episode is actually pretty interesting to me. And the final episode and the final scene that Selena has with Batman, I think, is actually really, really good.
Yeah. There's a lot of high points for Gotham in this episode.
This is cool because I'm watching this and I'm like, oh man, Bruce Wayne returns. Because I know, like, as a viewer, like, Bruce Wayne's not going to show up at this thing.
I love his
Something's going to happen. It is cool.
I like how flashy he is. Like, he likes to look good while he's committing his crimes. That's what I like about this Riddler.
I like the glasses.
The boulder probably should be green too, but I'm not going to nitpick. He just looks great in that jacket. He does. With the tie clip. I mean, come on.
Well, and this is weird because
Barbara involved.
Everybody kept saying Barbara Keene, like, if they're going to keep the character around and not kill her, they're going to have to redeem her. But the show is just telling us, hey, she's redeemed without really, like...
Yeah.
Well, they kind of do it here.
How and why.
Like,
well, no, I agree with Pete. I want to see the how and why. Like, prove to me like why this character was good, other than just like. I mean, I'm shocked that they were able to keep that character in the show for the full 5 seasons like this.
I think the easy answer is she had a kid.
Well, that is yes,
right.
But is that
she should still serve time?
I agree with that. Why she didn't go to prison at all is crazy.
Yeah, like she did. Yeah. Like her nightclub was like.
This is hilarious. This is like Batman 66.
Yeah. This is totally a scene right out of 66.
Like with the audio and stuff. Like.
Yeah. Like,
that was the old Barbara, right? Right there, we had the old Barbara.
So,
I wish they gave us 5 seasons of this. Instead
I
of
would watch
whatever.
5 seasons of this.
Yeah,
And see, look,
yeah.
all of a sudden we have like the entire cast of
Right.
Yes.
main characters in one room, except for Batman, of course.
I did like the guy who played Lucius. I thought he did add a little bit to the show.
He was
I
cool.
enjoyed him.
I think the show could have used more Lucius, but because they introduced him and then he was gone for a while, but then they brought him back and then
When he
they had
started
him
working
for-
in the GCPD, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Once they got Lucius back as a main character, I was pretty happy about that because he's an important part. And you know, I don't like everything they did with Leslie Tompkins, but boy, I'm glad they had Leslie Tompkins in the show, and she was a character for a good chunk of the
To certain
series.
points I like when
You
she's
know?
leading the narrows and stuff. I kind of get into because then she's giving like free healthcare away and stuff like that. Not
Well, and the
necessarily
funny
when she's
thing
like
is,
the kingpin, but
Yeah. Marina Baccarin, who plays Leslie Tompkins, got fell in love with Ben McKenzie and
Right.
plays Gordon. They got married during the course of the show and in the show. So we're led to believe that Jeremiah / Joker is doing this big diversion bomb thing, but he also managed to fashion a Riddler costume for the Riddler and gave it
He
to
had
him.
someone make it. That's all. He just
Yeah.
from the
well,
inside.
it's like how in Daredevil, there's the one tailor who just makes all the supervillain
Yeah.
suits. There's got to be somebody like that. in
I'm not
Gotham.
calling not calling it out. I'm just saying like it's interesting to me.
Yeah, this is the very 66 moment.
This whole thing here, just put all the characters in one room and just kind of
yeah,
do a thing.
yeah.
It's always the green one.
Why not just cut? Forget it.
You see other Green Wire.
Suspense. Gyroscope. Drill.
Make it fast.
She did. Oh no!
Those are the things that you used to, those U-shaped things are the things you used to have to attach antennas to on the back of televisions. That's the first
Yeah.
thing, when I saw that I noted. I was like, oh, that's the thing, the connection
Yeah.
cords for antennas. That you
Yeah.
have.
How do we make this bomb? Just hot glue a bunch of stuff we have lying around.
Pretty much.
Go to the electrician's table. And it's cool, the buildup of, you're like, okay, we watch this, like, okay, how long before I see Batman? And it's kind of, as the more time that goes on without seeing him, you kind of just get a little bit more anxious. Like, where is he? Like,
Yeah.
okay, it's almost over.
Right, is he there?
Yeah, because
Where is he?
I look at Alfred and Lucius in this episode as in terms of like because they're the ones that are in on
Right.
Batman, and they're like, when's Batman gonna show?
Yeah. Here we go. This is the weird name thing.
So is it Jeremiah Valeska? Yeah, and then
No! What are you doing, James?
yeah, so they're checking for a wire, and then he's wired. He already knows, but what's he?
I love how like Gordon's
what's he
us. He's
gonna
like,
do?
what's going on? What are you talking about? A wire? Why is he wearing a wire? No, he's wearing a wire. It's so ridiculous. When did he
Bullock
become?
come?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's
When did he
exactly.
become so afraid of Jeremiah all of a sudden?
Right.
Like, what is this? He's been a vegetable for 10 years.
Well, and everybody's been saying that.
I can't get over this.
And
look.
there's
Oh.
Echo. Yeah,
So
the
stupid.
Harley Quinn. What's the word? Cipher, I guess.
Fake.
But yeah, that's a more impolite way of saying.
Well, I'm
Proto
definitely way
Harley
more
Quinn.
polite than you. It goes without saying. Oh,
No,
my
this is
God.
cool. Yeah, you get Riddler and
Their interactions
And see,
through 5 years have been great, though. They
they're
really
just
have
like-
been.
they've been missing. Oh yeah, and then Riddler like comments on like, a little bit bigger there.
A little thicker in the middle.
They're like two. They're like two frat boys. Oh boy, this is something else too. Look at these
This is great.
66 crazy scream reactions when they get out of the car. It's goofy as crap.
But like, this is a serious Batman moment. Like that's a legitimate Batman moment.
That was, but then they go back to 66 moment right here when they show them screaming.
Well, this is here. Really... This is the backlot of Six Flags.
Look at that. That is ridiculous. They're so hard to like I know. They like overcompensate for like Batman should be scary, but they don't really. You just have to imagine like, oh boy, that must have been scary. Area. Well, you think too, like,
and then what's Alfred doing here? Like, what are they doing here?
Think about how
they
much
were
scary.
Close by. They were close
by. How many crime scenes do you walk through?
Well, Lucius works for the GCPD. So.
I guess it's okay.
Well, think about how much scary stuff that Penguin and Riddler have seen in the 5 years, and then they've been gone for 10 years, and then the thing that scares them is Batman. Like, I don't exactly buy it.
No, doesn't this seem very Spider-Man to you?
No, I told you it's, but it's also Arkham Batman to me. It's very
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Now the conversation that the conversation that Alfred and Lucius just had was pretty interesting because they talk about Bruce it shows that they know that he's Batman,
right?
But there's also are establishing for some reason he's not including Gordon in on it, which in the context of the show makes zero sense. It makes no sense at all. Because he was best friends with Gordon. Gordon saved him. You know,
I actually kind of prefer that they didn't let Gordon in on it.
Well, that's part of the the lore of Batman. But
I don't mind this look of Harley.
They don't have a good reason why.
I can't stand the Joker look.
Yeah. So now we've got into the Joker part.
Are his pants green?
I don't mind the costume.
The suit's green. The trench coat's purple. Interesting.
I don't mind the.
It's the makeup, the makeup and the prosthetics.
Yeah, they showed like they showed the one guy with the paintbrush at the beginning. Was that kind of alluding that he was going to paint Jeremiah's face, or like give him the?
I love how he just shoots.
It's Batgirl.
For real.
Yeah. I don't like this voice either.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays it like it's played like a third character. You know, you had Jeremiah, and the Joker is. Yeah. He plays it like a different character.
It's a new iteration.
Yes.
And she has a kiss moment. Jason, is it your heart out?
What the hell is that?
So they're
corn syrup.
They're shooting, killing Echo. With the.
I don't mind that
insinuation that leaves
ruthless.
Yeah, it makes him ruthless, and it leaves the door open for Harley Quinn. I guess.
Well, he said there are other fish in the sea, so it makes it seem
that's what I'm saying.
One day, but like, I just. I never liked the connection the Joker has to B-dubs. It's never been something I've enjoyed for this series.
It's an overt reference to the yin-yang
I felt
Batman and Joker. That's really what it is. It's just a in-your-face. They did it. Instead of it being there, it's actually there.
Mm-hmm. Now, I think the Joker's crime itself is very Jokerian. Like just kidnapping Gordon's daughter and everything like that seems
right.
Yeah.
And him masterminding
it's
the
small
whole thing.
scale and it's small scale. But again, why is his plan to kidnap why is he kidnapping Gordon's daughter? Like, why does he want to?
Yeah, especially since he wants to draw Bruce Wayne. Like, what is he doing?
Yeah, I'm struggling to understand why he's doing this to get to Gordon, but why? Like, he just kind of ends up
because he should be trying to find. He should be trying to get Bruce. That's his whole motivation.
He's just trying to draw out Bruce. Is that
I don't
the deal,
know.
I guess
I don't know why he's trying to draw Bruce out. I think he's just going to attack Bruce.
Yeah.
Like, I can't defend why he's doing it. I just think this whole thing right here is pretty Joker.
Yeah. And we're down into the last 10 minutes of the episode, and I gotta say, It's pretty good. I've rewatched.
It's the
this is a
best episode
testament.
of the series ever done.
I've
by far.
rewatched the last 10 minutes of this episode probably about 10 times, just because I'm trying to get a good sense of how they're wrapping everything up. And here, like, they're establishing that he doesn't remember who he is. Like, after he fell into the acid, he kind of forgot.
Right.
And he's like kind of a new person. So they're trying their best to kind of show that he's a new character, and he the slate's clean, he just has, an impression of who he used to be. So that's kind of a clever way of interpreting the multiple choice origin thing in the Joker, and he just is this nameless, faceless agent of evil or whatever. But and they can't actually say the word Joker in this show.
No,
so he just says, "Oh, call me Jack, call me whatever."
Yep.
And he doesn't remember. Apparently, doesn't remember much, but he also remembers that his connection with Bruce Wayne.
Even the lipstick looks just weird. Like, there's nothing about this look I enjoy.
And they're also like, "Oh man, I don't remember who I am. I'm just this person now." I'm like, but you know what?
But this is great.
Even if he lost his memory, even if Joker lost his memory and didn't know who he was, what Jeremiah has done is well documented. He could just look it up, and he would know who he was. Like, that's kind of a weird thing to me. Like, it's not all lost.
It was so cool to me, Gordon just holding on to his daughter's life by the rope, but Jeremiah is still just stabbing him relentlessly. Like, that's a Joker.
That was very Joker.
That
yeah, and here,
was.
like, now he says "you" here, which means that he knows who this is. Like, he knows it's Bruce.
I see. This is weird to me. The batarang goes through his entire hand, but then when he pegs him in the head with it, it doesn't.
Because he's not going to kill him.
I know that, but like, it still goes straight through his hand.
It was a perfect shot. That's why the hand one was perfect. Just
and it's cool. Like another
over the
shoulder Batman shot. That was cool. And it was cool how like the whole room got dark when Batman showed up.
Right. I wonder if they had ideas to like knock the lights out, but then they're probably like, "Oh, it would be bad for the shot," so they just
This also like the shots of the skylines and everything just reeks of like Rises to me. There's so much Nolan influence in this last episode.
Yeah, I mean, there's a aesthetically, there's a lot of a Nolan influence over the whole show.
Where's the spotlight from, and what is the significance of it? Because I've been talking to Eric about it, and it's just a blank spotlight, and I can't.
They brought the spotlight out at the very end of season 4.
Yes, okay, that's true.
And it was like the bridges are going to get blown. We have to have a signal to show that the GCPD is a beacon of hope or whatever. And it was Gordon.
That's right. Gordon is flashlight. I remember this.
Gordon and Bruce were there lighting it, and then they established it again, I believe, at the beginning of season 5. So it was a thing, and this is cool. How like because they're echoing back to that. I wanted Bruce to come out to see this. We to light it back up after 10 years. But Bruce isn't there, and it's just Alfred and Alfred's looking at the signal because he knows kind of like what's going to do. Now this scene, this is one of the best scenes in the episode right here.
Mm-hmm. The series.
Yeah, for sure. Because Batman's there. They've established that Batman has been kind of stalking Selena Kyle like ever since he's been back in town. But this is like the first time they've actually met, and it's for the most part a one-sided conversation.
His voice is different.
His voice is different, which I thought was pretty impressive. He's still Batman, but it's not the more voice modulated version. So I thought it was exceptionally well done for what it is. And this speech that she has is like, it makes sense. It ties into like it's Batman and Catwoman, and it makes sense based off of how they left things.
It's just interesting because she's opening up to him so much, and it feels so unlike Catwoman, but like knowing the journey these two have had.
Yeah. But
it makes sense.
this
It works for
split,
this show.
but the split between them is going to make her. Because after this scene is over, you kind of see that she's like, well, screw this, I'm going to be Catwoman, basically.
It's definitely the warmest I've ever seen the character portrayed in any form.
Yeah. Return the diamond. I love that. I love that he says, I don't know, I'll never leave Gotham again. Return the diamond. That is so cool. That's like a Batman thing to do. And then he vanishes. Like, that's super good.
And that's a very Catwoman thing to do,
Yeah.
she says.
Yeah.
Like,
Great.
hell.
It was really great moment.
I like that. This is
They definitely saved their best stuff for the last episode, that's for sure. You know, I feel like this final episode of Gotham fits in line with like 90s Flash, Lois and Clark.
It
like,
is
yeah,
totally
it's over the
like
top.
that.
It's backlot. It's ridiculous, but you know what? Like this feels like this has integrity and heart. Like the previous 5 years didn't feel like that.
There he is.
Yeah,
Sorry. I'm getting excited.
you know.
And they're just like, maybe tomorrow.
I love how he like puts his shoulders back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. He
And
was
instead of a cane,
I love the
he's got
walk.
an umbrella, right? Like,
Yeah.
did he ever have the umbrella as a cane before?
Well, he
I don't
was
think he
Fish
did.
Mooney's umbrella boy. Remember?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I think you're right.
That's how we. First
And this is cool.
met him.
This is cool. Alfred bringing back up one of the lines that Jim Gordon said in the pilot.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like, this is a really smart way to tie up the series. Give him hope.
And
Oh,
the
you see
series is
Batman.
about to end on this huge high note. Like this is great. They're all staring up.
Yeah, I love everything
into
about
the
this.
Zoom.
And I love Alfred. Like,
Yeah.
because you wonder, like, has Alfred actually seen Batman?
But then at the same
Like,
time,
for the
wondering
first
how well
time?
can they see him from that rooftop?
Probably yes.
You just see his silhouette.
I love the way the suit looks from the back there.
I don't like the
Who
shoulders.
is he? Who is he? A friend. That's so
That's
good.
a good line.
That's a good line. It's a good delivery. And the score here is
Silent
like
Guardian.
great.
No.
Basically.
Right?
But no, it's really well done. You see Wayne Tower in the background. That's intentional. And then
What is wrong with the cowl?
Now that-
Come
Yeah,
on.
the cowl, the pizza abs. It looks like cloth in a lot of places. It just looks
Yeah.
like a bad cosplay.
so not the best.
Especially
Not
when
the
you
best.
follow like Reeves effects on Instagram like I do. And that guy is like making replicas at 89 and you're like, you guys couldn't hire that dude?
Yeah. So there you go. That's the series
was-
finale of Gotham.
You know, still, like I've said before, best episode of Gotham ever. I feel like actually that title has been up for grabs this season. Me and Eric have said that at least twice.
Yeah.
And I said it on a previous BOF show that season 5 is easily the best season of Gotham.
Yeah, easily, hands down.
Like the episode that had Scarface and the ventriloquist in it was really, really well done. I didn't
overall, enjoy how
compared
it
to
wasn't
other
Albert
Gotham
Wesker,
episodes.
but you know,
yeah, and that's despite that. Yeah. So let's talk about the Batsuit for a second. It's not good, right?
no,
Like,
it's not good. Actually, that's actually the best it looks. If you want the behind the scenes photos of the suit,
Yeah.
with the actors,
look better than the shot that they picked here.
like I feel like they look worse. The cowl looks really weird.
Yeah.
If you look at the I found what's his name? I sent it to Bill as well. The actor who played Batman.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, it's weird. Like the back of the cowl has like points on the ears. It's very interesting. What's his name?
And from the side, like I said this on the green room the other night, but it looks like it's like stitched weird. And the one picture that they show of him and the girl who played Selena, they're standing and you see the side of them. And yeah, if the more detail, the closer detail you get, I think it actually looks worse.
It looks way better.
Well, yeah, because it was only meant to be seen for like 5 seconds. It was made for this final shot of the series, but you know, there's too much fabric. Like the weird fabric separation is just kind of like it just doesn't really.
It looks very
do
Nolan
much for
inspired
me.
again. You know, the bat suit with the way the arms are and the bands.
Right.
The pants, the legs look not very Nolan.
The actors on Twitter, his handle is Mr. Mudrick. He is he's like a real estate agent, I think, and I guess he moonlights as a stuntman. So he got this Gotham gig, and he's got some behind the scenes photos, and good for him or for living out my dream, getting paid to be Batman.
Right.
And he's got one photo of him in front of a green screen, and you could just and the suit's very bright, and it's interesting. You could tell, like it looks like the Nolan suit. It does, just the way it looks like it's pieced together. But
yeah,
and it's similar like Batman Noel. The cape comes out of the logo, So there's some inspiration there from other.
And I like the way the cowl and the suit looks from the back. Like I said, it reminded me of one of the suits in Batman. What's it called? Gotham Knight. Batman Gotham Knight, the anime, the Batman Begins Nolan anime. One of the outfits there has like the scalloped cape. And that's not a look you see a lot of, and I think that's cool, especially because so much of your shots of Batman in this episode are from the back. It keeps some visual interest going. I think it's kind of neat, but it doesn't do any favors from the front. And man, I just never liked the double. Also have the Bat logo on the belt. I just never liked that. Like, it's in the 60s show, which is like, it's okay, but
60s Schumacher do it. Yeah.
And they've done that with Superman as well, like in Superman Returns. The Superman logo is also on the belt, and I'm just like, why? Or on the back of the cape too. I'm like, why?
It's very interesting where they put the logo. Like, like you said, for Batman, it's always like a Batarang, or it's always in the rim of his tires of the Batmobile.
Right.
He's got his video board in the back cave is always in the shape of a bat or something like that. It's very interesting what bat logos are around.
I think my biggest, the biggest thing that was disappointing about the suit was that this is like the one time you're getting to show a full front picture of Batman on TV, and that's all you could do. Like,
since 1969 or whatever, yeah.
So I think that's my biggest disappointment about it. Like, I wanted something.
Yeah.
Well, like Eric, we saw great suits at Comic-Con. Like,
that
looks like
the other night.
Looks like bad cosplay.
True. Yeah, I've seen much better cosplay at Comic-Con, and even at the movies when Batman movies come out, like people dress up and go. I've seen better ones there.
Like, I've contacted Gesture Effects on Instagram. It's like $2,000 for a bat suit. They didn't have $2,000 to buy a bat suit. Like, honestly,
right?
Yeah. What's interesting is like they clearly didn't just because for like Smallville, when Smallville ended, they just kind of took the top part of like the Brandon Routh suit and. They didn't even show like a live action full shot. The full Superman you saw was like CG from very tiny, small distance. But for this, they actually went out of their way and took the trouble to make a full costume. And they didn't just copy a costume. They made like their own thing too. So I give them props for that. But yeah, it could have used a little bit more time.
Because the last time we saw Batman on live action had to be Birds of Prey. And I think they used...
okay. I was saying the 60s show, but you're right. They used the OnStar suit.
The OnStar suits, which are remolds of like the Schumacher suits. And then
I thought it was Batman. I thought it was the Batman and Robin suit, but with the colors.
It might
for
have
the
been.
logo.
It might have been. Because for the Batgirl suit, they just used the Batgirl suit from Batman and Robin, but gave her a cowl. So that's it. It's like you said, they didn't recycle it previously. It's not like they pieced together bat suits from the old like Warner archives. Here's a Kilmer torso and a Keaton hood. They didn't take any of that. So they tried to do their own thing.
Yeah. It kind of does in a weird way fit within the aesthetic of the show.
Yes.
But again, this only makes sense because that Bruce Wayne becomes Batman. Watching the show, you would never there's not enough evidence there to support
because it's not about Bruce Wayne.
I know, and that's the weirdest thing. It's
about the villains.
I know it's about the villains, but then the whole show builds up to Bruce Wayne becoming Batman, but there's still not enough in the show to be like, because you can't answer the basic questions of what okay, I kind of get why he left Gotham, but what's his plan? What is his training? Why actually did he come back to protect Gotham? They seem like they've been pretty good for 10 years because Joker and Riddler and Penguin have all been locked up, and then all of a sudden when he comes back is when everything goes to hell again.
There's like no escalation. You're not having
Well, why did he choose a bat as why is he a Batman? Like in in one of the final episodes of the season, you do see some like, oh, he's got some like technology type stuff that calls certain winged mammals,
right?
And bats, and they repeated. It was bad, but they repeated them. They repeated the beat from Batman Returns, where all the bats swarm the Penguin, but they did it this time where the bats swarm Bane and bite Bane and stuff.
Really, I took it more of a year one begins moment where he just summoned the bats, but yours makes sense. Okay, your Returns ones make sense too.
Yeah, but it's like, even though they did that, it wasn't like Bruce was like, you know what, those bats were inspiring. I shall become like them. Like, there's none of that connection. Well,
I always felt like his motivation was to prevent from what happened to me to happen from other people. This Gotham Batman, his motivation seems to be, people seem to go after the people I love, so I have to protect them. It's almost like he's a glorified bodyguard for his friends and family, as opposed to for the citizens of Gotham.
Well, it ties into the show because the show was supposed to be about Gordon, right? So it kind of ties in that way, that he wants to protect his friends and family, namely Gordon, who was the guy who protected him when he was a kid, right?
Yeah.
Like, you kind of get that. It's kind of like a payback thing. That's how I looked at the show, building up to this season and going towards the end, and then his motivation for leaving and all that. That's how I kind of looked at it. I'm like, all right, he wants to pay everyone back who was helping him as he was a kid.
But everybody knows he's Batman except for Gordon, and it's going to be weird. Like, it's weird that he doesn't tell Gordon that he's Batman, and it's also weird if Gordon is oblivious to the fact that
he can't be, because the voice is a dead giveaway. I don't care how the story
goes. It's one of those things like where, like in the Nolan trilogy, Gordon like doesn't want to know, like on principle.
Right.
It makes me. I do kind of feel like maybe by the end of this episode, you kind of maybe get the sense that Gordon kind of knows he's Bruce Wayne, but just doesn't. Because, doesn't mention it. Like, maybe that's why he's staying on as commissioner, because he kind of knows it's Bruce, and he's going to kind of let him be Batman, right?
Right. You could kind of infer that, too, just by watching the episode, how he's mentioned, but you never see him.
Yeah. So every time you see Gordon, like, because this version, this is weird, too. Like, this version of Gordon has, throughout the series, has been very not like Gordon. Like, he's been killing people, he's been shooting people, he's been working as like a mob enforcer. He's not a very good person. But for some reason, in this last episode, when Batman shows up and he's talking about Batman, and contrary to the way he normally acts, he does not assume the worst. He's like, oh, this guy is probably here to help. He's almost helping like reassured. Us. Yeah, he's here to help us and stuff like that. And at the end, he says, who do you think he is? Who is he? He's a friend. Like, because he helped, because Batman told him, don't touch the bodies because they were with explosives. So he's a friend. So the Gordon that I came to know in the show would not have been so quick to trust Batman. But something tells me that maybe he already knows it's Bruce, and he's kind of letting him be Batman. But that's just my guess.
No, I agree with you. I think it's a good inference to make, just by, if you watch the series from the beginning, and he knew Bruce Wayne, right? So, and what he tells him when he leaves, he's like, Gotham's in good hands, and he decides to leave and go do his training, and then he comes back. I think the coincidence of Bruce being back, and then this new Batman character is there.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting too. Yeah,
it's because issue.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see, like, is this version of Bruce, has he decided to be the billionaire playboy, in public kind of thing? But we don't really get a sense of that. You get more of a sense that he's kind of like the Keaton Batman, more of a recluse. Like he's back, but he's
there
like
were a
not in the
lot of
limelight
nods
still.
to the Keaton Batman in this as well. Like they dressed him up like Keaton with the turtleneck and the fuzzy hair, like because he's kind of got that Keaton fro. So there were there were some callbacks to that. Like they've done. I will say this: they did a lot of pulling certain things from various parts of the source material. As much as I don't think they were good interpretations, I do think they did. I think from stapling the Joker's face back on to the various nods to Nolan and Burton and even Schumacher at times. Like there was definitely some sort of influence from source material. Again,
like I said, they straight up used lines from some of the movies in the show.
Right, plays on the words, but pretty much the lines.
Yeah.
And I noticed going through my tweets the other day, and it's like, oh, that's a nod to Return. Like, I'm like, oh wow, they did this a lot.
Yeah.
They even had the Neon Schumacher gang. So,
well, I said this on
the Penguin's dad was Pee Wee Herman. For God's sake.
Yeah.
Right. And I said this on the green room to Pete. The moment I saw who they cast as Catwoman when the show first began, I immediately thought of Michelle Pfeiffer. I said, wow, she looks just like Michelle Pfeiffer. Right?
Yeah.
So they kind of wanted to bring those... Obviously, they did it on purpose. They kind of wanted to bring those references in on purpose so that people watching this show now, they can say, oh, yeah, she kind of looks like that one. Or this is kind of like that.
It's the same reason you have Danny Elfman score Justice League.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or when you were talking about Birds of Prey, it's a new live action interpretation, but they still rooted it in some of the movie aesthetic. So just like this, Gotham has composite elements of Batman 66 and the Burton movies and the Nolan movies, and it's its own thing too.
Especially Azrael. We won't go there. That's a whole other...
Please don't. As an Azrael fan, I was not impressed with what they did with Azrael.
That's a whole other topic.
And Gotham is like this. That's the first live action Azrael. Oh, kind of.
That's kind of how I felt when I heard them call him Victor Fries. I'm like, what?
Pete, what do I say on every episode of the Green Room?
Victor Burger.
I was
the
with
Victor Shake.
I was there. I was with you. And then they do something like, oh yeah, it's Gotham again.
Yeah, it's like every time they do something cool, they quickly punch you in the gut right after.
Yep.
It's like,
that was Ra's al Ghul too. They're like, oh man, they got Ra's al Ghul, and then it was like a really not great interpretation of Ra's al Ghul.
It was similar to the Arrow one, but the Arrow one was better.
Yeah, and that's not saying much.
I know, but it was similar to that one, how they did that one. Pete, I don't know if you watch Arrow, but
no, I don't.
Okay.
But I know they butchered Captain Boomerang.
Hey, Arrow's been good this season.
Yeah, it has. I'm a little behind, but it has been pretty good. So
I have to watch.
They had Ernie Hudson. They had Ernie Hudson on the last episode, and he was Diggle's dad.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That should be
stepdad. It's Diggle's stepdad, and his last name is Stewart. So John Diggle might actually be.
They've been
John
teasing that
Stewart.
for a while. That's been a fan theory forever.
Well, in the Elseworlds crossover, the Flash, John Wesley Shipp's Flash from the 90s comes back, and he's like, he sees Diggle, and he's like, basically says that he's his version of John Diggle is actually a Green Lantern.
Right, yeah.
So they've been doing some either good hints or expert level trolling to the fans on that show.
I'm a big fan of the DC CW. I'm looking forward to Batwoman.
Me too.
I'm gonna miss Arrow, but I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well, you can catch up on Supergirl now.
Oh yes,
it's true.
Can we not talk about this, please?
I love that show. You know I love.
Can we not go there, please? No.
Hey, Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
they had Lex Luthor,
and the Lexo suit looked good too. By the way,
it did look really good. That's kind of goofy to say Lexo suit, but whatever.
I don't know what else to call it.
That's what it's called.
Oh.
An exosuit, but it's Lex, so they call it a Lexo suit.
Oh, dude, play on words.
They benefit it.
But yeah. Basically.
Batflex.
Right, they Batfleck it. Yep.
Oh, man. I hope that when we get the next Batman casting, that it's not possible to come up with a pithy abbreviation.
Well, we didn't. I mean,
like,
the guy
they
cast him for Titans. Like, no one did anything.
Well, yeah, but that's not a live action.
Oh, you mean Bathammer? Oh,
Yeah, ple's no.
but that's not, dude.
That's already started.
That was a vehicle.
I know.
That was a vehicle. It was a Schumacher
I know.
vehicle.
That's why it's even worse. Like,
It's gonna be a bad hammer.
It's already started.
They're all gonna go
come on.
crazy.
I know it's already started.
All the
but-
cinephiles, all the Twitter cinephiles.
Yeah, because there wasn't much you could say with Bell. What do you say? Bell, Batman,
Bat Bell.
Bat Bell,
Bat Bell.
like whatever. That just sounds whatever.
They just
Bail man.
Bell
Nolanite.
man. Well, yeah, that's what they
Nolanite.
did call him because it was well
Right.
Bateman. People would call him Bateman because
Right.
he was
For,
in
yeah.
American Psycho.
Yeah.
You know what I call him? The last actor to make $1 billion is Batman. That's what I call him. That's what I call him.
That's too much, Pete.
All right.
That's too much.
I said it. I went there. My
That's too
Twitter
much.
handle's at Pete Illustrated. Come at me.
Oh, please, please, everybody, come at Pete.
Yeah, please. Please. I opened my own can of worms last week, so I had my own fight. I don't want to go do that again. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, saying controversial things on Twitter is never a good idea.
Especially about a specific movie that I won't bring up.
Oh my god! Don't. PSA, everybody.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't. Seriously.
Yeah.
No Twitter. No Twitter.
I don't care how dull your day is going. And you feel like egging
Rub your
people
hands together.
on.
All right, let's lay down another Twitter hit.
Just roll up the
Don't
sleeves.
Don't do it.
Oh, God.
And I love the passion all these people have. I don't even want to say that I do love the passion. It is great to have that kind of passion. I will say that. So, if I've ever gotten into it with you on Twitter over any Batman related thing, please let it be known that I appreciate the passion you have behind it.
Well, you're welcome, Eric. I'm glad you appreciate my passion.
Yes, I do. You as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, as well. Okay. All right. This guy.
So hopefully, if you're a listener and you despise Gotham, I'm sorry I disappointed you. If you're a listener and you love Gotham, we probably also disappointed you. We probably have I'm hoping we have a nice middle ground of critique and
I'd love for you to tell me why
props.
you love Gotham. I'd love to have a conversation about it. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
I'd love
Yeah.
to talk to somebody who's not crazy and have them tell me why they love Gotham so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to go down as one of the more esoteric and weird and divisive things in Batman history.
Which has been the common theme lately.
Yeah, it is.
I know they keep, and that's been my running narrative is like they can only do so many of these things that aren't unabashed wins before it damages the brand.
Well, I got into it, Eric, not too long ago. I'm no fan of the show, and I think I said it watered down the brand and is a stain on the legacy. And I still feel that way. I don't think this is very good for Batman. I still don't think this is a good jumping on point for Batman. Like, I don't think it has much heart and integrity as much as it's a toy grab. You know,
it's what Gotham.
Yeah, like I feel like Gotham was made to sell overpriced Diamond Select toys at comic book stores.
Yeah,
of villains who aren't going to be in a movie. Like, that's kind of how I feel.
I mean, you just look at the quality, and it's hard not to be jealous as a DC fan, a Batman fan, to be like, to look at Gotham and look at that series finale, and then look at the Avengers movie that you get on the same day. I don't know that it's like silly to compare the two things and all that kind of stuff, but it's just kind of a point of comparison, just to be like, we need more quality content overall.
Yeah, I mean, and the movies have gotten better. I think the movies have gotten a lot better.
They absolutely have gotten better.
So,
yes.
I mean, step in the right direction there.
Yes.
But,
yeah.
And
I think it's going to be a wait, obviously, before we get Matt Reeves Batman, but it's good because
But like
I think
over at the CW,
I think they're going to do it right.
That multiverse is pretty strong. Like if you're going to compare anything to what Marvel's doing, the DC CW is the closest thing.
That's true.
It's on a much smaller scale, but
that is very true.
It's a smaller scale, but
how
they
many
have
shows
a ton
interconnecting
of characters. Yeah,
they have universes connecting. Like they've been to other Earths and explore. Like Supergirl's a totally different thing.
Yeah,
as it's from Flash, and which is kind of contained in the Arrow
and you know what?
sector.
And that's a great point, Pete. And Avengers Endgame is giving the MCU an opportunity to close some doors and open some new ones, and later this year we're gonna see that for the first time in like a DC property like this when Arrow is ending after 8 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
it's gonna be how many episodes they do?
10 episodes.
10, right?
Yeah, so Arrow's going to end. So they're going to have the chance to like end that show, but also wrap it up, and because they're also going to do Crisis on Infinite Earths for their big crossover and stuff like that, and have Batwoman. So that's a lot of stuff and pretty dang ambitious for TV. So
I mean, like,
yeah, I'm ragging on Gotham, but then again, like the DC CW is just pretty insane with what they're doing.
DCU, I mean, the Titans was good.
Titans
Doom Patrol
was
is
good.
excellent from what I've
Doom
heard.
Patrol is fantastic.
So, like, I mean,
and we're about to get Swamp Thing.
Yeah, we're Batman on film, so we're focusing on the Batman show. Be it is probably the worst show DC wise out there, but that's our bread and butter.
Yeah.
So there are other really good TV shows out there to watch if you want.
I hope Pennyworth is good.
content.
Like, we'll probably do a Pennyworth show or two, I would imagine.
I liked the
that's
trailer,
out.
the extended trailer that they
I
showed.
did too.
Yeah, I liked it.
We'll see.
First trailer was kind of just like flash here, and then But this one, you get to see a little more of the character.
Yeah,
and I am very looking forward to it. It kind of reminds me of a precursor to Pertwee's Alfred, right?
Yeah,
Like very. If you know the character of Alfred that Pertwee played, now you have this show, and
It's very Earth One.
yeah. So I'm hoping that it's good because it's one of the things you're like, oh, why are they doing that? And then you watch it and it turns out you might really enjoy it. So
Yeah, I mean, between Batwoman and Pennyworth, there's Batman content on TV. We're going to get a whole season.
Yeah.
So we got 2 seasons to cover. So
everyone's gonna have to buy Epics. If you don't have Epics, you have to get.
That's
Epics.
true. That's true.
Yeah, is that a subscription service or is that something?
It is.
It's a channel on,
Yeah.
but it's also you could get it, subscribe for it.
Yeah.
Which is
And I think I haven't looked it up, but I thought that the whole show is one of those binge things, right, where the whole thing drops or something.
I
like
hope
that.
not. I actually liked how DCU did Titans and how they're doing Doom Patrol, and
I like that too.
Because there's
I
no
think-
chance anything get ruined unless you really miss it.
right. And I mean, I get
Right.
the thing about binging and having everything at once because, like, okay, you don't have to wait; it's there, and that's the society we live in. But growing up, having to wait for the next week to watch something, I always enjoyed that. Like, it gives you
Old
anticipation, right? It gives you anticipation. All right, what's
Well,
going to happen?
yeah. Plus, it lets you digest
Right.
the content,
right.
and talk about it amongst yourselves.
Yeah,
Just staying spoiler free. That's what it's all about.
I think we're in a really good place, even in television for Batman too, because Batwoman. So we're getting we're getting that title. We're getting a Bat something.
Well, yeah. Yeah. But that's part of the thing too. Like, you can't use Batman on TV, so you can use Batwoman, but you
Right.
can't talk about Batman. And part of the setup for that show is that Batman is gone, So all those people are like, "Oh, Batman would never leave." Well, I'm sorry, he left again. So,
I
But
hate
they
those
did-
wires.
They did explain it in the crossover.
yeah,
She-
but
yeah. So
but
like,
he decided to go. But guess what? Superman's gone too. Which is the weirdest thing in that universe is like Superman and Lois Lane are having a baby, and they're like, you know what? I think Supergirl's got things handled. I'm just going to go off and have fun, and while Lois is pregnant. See you later.
To be honest, I'm surprised they never gave us that.
And then Lex
Superman
Luthor
TV
comes
show.
back, and all things go to hell. Like, what? I know, but
I'm surprised we never got that Superman show. Like I thought for sure
I know.
that's what they were doing with that Superman. They were just doing a little test run.
well, that's what they did with Flash on Arrow. So it
Yeah.
Yeah.
wasn't that far of a leap to make to say, okay, well, they're going to do Superman now.
And then they did it with Batwoman.
yeah. Well, Batwoman was one. The Flash on Arrow had a little bit of an arc. It was a couple episodes.
Okay.
yeah,
This was just the one. But yeah, I mean, I remember, I don't watch Supergirl, but I remember when he was cast and then they showed him, and then the speculation was, oh, they're going to do a show, a separate one. But I don't know I don't remember how that got shot down.
I mean, I don't think it ever got to the
Production.
super official level of
Yeah. Because
and it's also the kind of thing where they're like DC or Warner Brothers is like, yeah, you can use Superman, but only for like 2 episodes.
I just don't think
And in
CW
fact-
has enough time slots, to be honest.
Well, that's the thing too. Is like they introduced Lex Luthor into Supergirl this season with John Cryer playing Lex Luthor, but again, the rule was like you can have Lex Luthor, but you can only have him in 3 episodes. So you got to make him count. So they can talk about him. Isn't it weird stipulations? So they can talk about him. They can have him like influence the plot.
It's like they try to like minimum overexposure.
Yeah,
the
but
whole
the
genre's
character,
overexposed.
but the character himself can only physically be in 3 episodes.
But people want
Which
this,
is
like-
weird because he was in every episode for like 6 seasons of Smallville.
I know,
like,
and people
it's
want
such a
them.
weird. Yeah, it's such a weird.
Like people.
I
don't know.
This...
Dude, Superman but then you have Krypton. So
Yes, you do have Krypton.
I need to watch that.
It's very good. I didn't watch all of season 1. I caught like the first, I want to say 2
the
or 3
production
episodes.
value on that show is amazing.
Yes, and
I can't. I mean, season 2 looks amazing already. Like they're bringing in Lobo and stuff. Like that's commendable.
Brainiac looked incredible. I remember the first time I saw Brainiac on TV. Then I
Better
was
than
like, oh
Doomsday?
my god! Well, that was my comment. I made a comment on Twitter.
Their
like, how could
Doomsday
we
looks
get
better
this?
than Doomsday.
Yeah, I'm like, how could we get this on TV at a movie budget, and this is what we get in a movie? Like, come on! But they did
Those
it's
green screens are expensive.
excellent. Yeah, it was excellent. Excellently done. The look was excellently done.
No, Krypton, especially if you're a DCU subscriber, Krypton's now on the DC Universe app, so
Yep,
you can rewatch the whole
that
first
DC
season.
Universe app is so good.
It's great, man. I mean, I've been me and Eric share one, so like it's just like he knows what I'm watching. I'm watching like The Flash and Lois and Clark, and I watch.
Well, they added like
Eric knows when I watch the
20,000
app.
comics, like any random obscure comics is like are on there now. It's
I haven't
it's
even
such a
touched
good
that
value.
stuff yet. I've been too busy
I know.
rewatching animated movies and cartoons and stuff.
Yeah,
Cartoon shows. I mean, it's just
it's great.
there's so much just content. I'll rewatch 89, Returns. All that stuff. Though those are on there. It's a great app. And then Justice League Fatal 5 is on there too. So you get you get it a little bit delayed. Like I think when they do the DTV, direct to video.
They come out when the physical media does.
Yeah, it comes they release it on like digital first, and then it's on there. So you have to wait a little bit, so you don't have to buy it twice. So think about it that way too. Because they pump out those things like it's nobody's business. Like at one point, I was like, man, I bought like 5 of these this year. This is getting crazy. So those DC animated originals, they make those like they're going out of style. So it's good for that too. You definitely save some coin.
Yeah. But I guess this is a good spot to put a pin in it. So we heard our series finale comments on Gotham, and if anybody has any questions or things you think would be good for us to bring up on a future show where we just talk about Gotham as a whole, just let us know. We're on Twitter, and let's go ahead and plug some of that stuff. So Eric, start us off with some plugs.
Well, as Ryan was saying, we are on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at Finally33. You can search for my content on Batman on Film. Just put in my name, Eric Holzmann, and you'll see all my content. I am behind on my Doom Patrol reviews, but I am catching up. So we should have all of them. I should be up to date, I'm hoping, by Wednesday.
Do you spell it Eric with a Q?
I should.
I'm just wondering.
I should actually. I should change that, but yeah. And yes, look for the future podcast that Ryan has been plugging now. We're going to do a series retrospective on Gotham.
Probably in when's the full series come out in June? It's like June 11th or July 11th, something like that.
Yeah. It's over the summer.
So sometime after that's out is when we'll do this.
Yeah, we'll do you could watch it if you have Netflix. It's on Netflix.
The final season will be on Netflix pretty soon, I would imagine too.
I think as soon as it hits physical media.
And just for aside for me, I want to thank everyone who has seen the Green Room show that Pete and I did, who supported the show the Green Room show that Pete and I did, whether you saw it live or you watched it afterwards. It was something that we kind of just came up organically and it worked. So I want to thank you all for that.
Cool.
Yes.
Pete.
You can find me on social media at Pete Illustrated, Twitter, Vero, Instagram. Check out my reviews of Detective Comics. And that's pretty much it. I don't really have anything new to plug, but just piggybacking off Eric, thanks for everyone who watched the Green Room. It was fun. It was cool. Like, it was just a fun little social experiment we tried. And, we actually got some people to actually view and watch and everything. And it was just a cool, fun experience to interact with people, talk about the show, regardless of whether we liked it or not. It's just fun talking about Batman with other people. So we appreciate everyone who's been in there.
Yeah, cool. And I hope you guys keep that going once Batwoman comes out.
Definitely for Batwoman.
Once it's a show. Depending
on how much, if I need another subscription service or not. So, Epic's, like, you've already been warned once. So I got to figure out if I get that
you could do it. You could do it on for Pennyworth.
So definitely Batwoman because I get CW.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for me, follow the Batman Podcast Network on Twitter at BatPod Network. Follow me on Twitter at SMB_Ryan. And as far as the podcast, I think the next episode 144 is going to be a roundtable discussion for Avengers Endgame, because we did one last year for Infinity War. So this year we're going to do one for Endgame, and Rick's actually going to be on that show because Rick loves Avengers Endgame.
He does.
So.
He's a big fan. I still have to see Captain Marvel, which means I have to wait to see Endgame. So I got to see that. I'm probably going to see Captain Marvel sometime this week.
Yep,
that's my goal.
It's still in theaters too, so you can watch both.
I'm lucky these movies have legs.
Yeah, for real.
That's true. That's
why I'm not worried about Endgame. Like, as long as I avoid the spoilers, like, I know it's going to be out for a while.
Yeah, this one will be out for a very long time.
Yeah, so I know I got time.
Yeah. So the next episode will be Avengers Endgame Roundtable, and the episode after that, 145, hopefully, will be covering the Bowling Green State University Batman Conference,
which you did a fantastic job with.
Yes, I don't know if anybody's been following me on Twitter or on the because I'm also on Vero. You can find me there. Like, I think that's SMB_Ryan, or on BOF's Instagram page. Go Batman on Film on Instagram. A few weeks ago I went to the BGSU Batman in Academia conference, and me and Trey Jackson and Rob Myers from Rob and Everyone Loves the Drake, between the three of us, we did 4 panels there, which is pretty cool. And the whole conference was really great. It's we'll get more into it. So our plan for that is me and Rob from Rob and Everyone Loves the Drake will do a podcast on that show, which will be a discussion of the conference, and then the audio of Rob's Robin panel.
Wonderful.
And that'll be part 1, and then part 2 will be here on BOF for episode 145, which will have the audio for the other 3 panels, which will be Trey Jackson's Dark Knight trilogy panel. It was like the political philosophy, something like that, of Dark Knight trilogy. And then me and Rob did a panel on Batman Nightfall, the legacy of that storyline.
Wonderful.
Legacy of Batman Nightfall. And then we also did, then all 3 of us did a roundtable on the history of Batman on film. And it was, but it was both, it was tracking the Batman films, and we also talked about like fandom and BOF in general, like throughout that whole thing.
Wonderful.
So
great stuff.
That should be, so we recorded all those panels and working on getting the editing done for that. But then I was going to have those posted, but then all this other stuff happened, and I was like, I don't want to sandwich that in between Gotham and Endgame. It's not a pressing thing, so I'll just let it breathe a little bit so we can get enough content out at a good steady pace. I mean, it's been a while since we've had a BOF show, but there's going to be a bunch coming down the line after this. So,
yep, Comic-Con's around the corner. I can't imagine we're going to be very bored.
Yep, that's true.
There's no shortage of stuff, so we'll keep going. I think that wraps up today's episode. For Pete and Eric, I'm Ryan. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey now! You've been listening to the Batman on Film podcast, a proud member and the sponsor of the Batman Podcast Network, BatmanPodcastNetwork.com. You can listen to the BOF Podcast on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, TuneIn, and wherever good podcasts like this one can be found. Want to advertise on the BOF Podcast? Go to advertisecast.com/the Batman on Film Con podcast. Follow Jet on Twitter at Batman on Film and on BOF's Facebook fan page at facebook.com/jet.batmanonfilm. Email Jet via jet@batman-on-film.com. I'm announcer Rachel. Thanks for listening.